Have you ever wondered what it really takes to live a happy life? Don't worry, you're not the only one. In a world where everyone is chasing something, money, fame, relationships, happiness has become the one thing we talk about constantly but rarely understand. Everyone promises a shortcut, a course, a secret formula. But what if true happiness isn't hiding in any of those things? What if it's already right here, in the little things we ignore every day? So today, we're going to slow down, cut through the noise, and listen to what psychology and Stoic philosophy, two very different but surprisingly aligned schools of thought, have been teaching us for centuries. That happiness is not found, it's practiced. Before we dive into the lessons, let me tell you a story. There was once a young man named Mark who lived in a peaceful valley. From the outside, his life looked perfect. A good job, a nice house, friends who admired him, but inside, he felt a quiet emptiness, a question he couldn't answer. Why am I not happy, even when I have everything I ever wanted? So, one morning, Mark packed a small bag and left home, determined to find the secret to happiness. After days of wandering, he reached a small wooden cabin perched on a hill where an old man lived alone. Mark shared his struggle, and the old man listened silently, his eyes calm, his voice steady. Then he said, "To be happy, you don't need more, not more money, not more power. You need to practice 3 things: gratitude, acceptance, and love." Mark frowned. It sounded too simple. The old man smiled. "Gratitude," he said, "is the first step. If you don't appreciate what you already have, you'll never have enough. Be thankful for every breath, every moment, every sunrise. Acceptance," he continued, "is the next. Life will rise and fall like the tides. Stop trying to control every wave, learn to float. And love," he concluded, "is the final key. Love what you do, love who you're with, and love yourself most of all. Only when your heart is full of love can you give happiness to others and receive it in return." Mark stayed silent, but something shifted inside him. When he returned home, he began practicing gratitude, learning to accept change and choosing love in the small things, how he spoke, how he worked, how he saw himself. Slowly, the emptiness faded. He no longer chased happiness, he lived it. When his friends noticed the change and asked what happened, Mark smiled and said, "Happiness isn't a destination. It's the journey itself." Now that we've set the stage, let's talk about the first practical key to happiness, one that both science and Stoicism agree on. Lesson 1. Laugh more. We take life far too seriously. Every email, every deadline, every social media post feels like a battle for survival. We frown more than we breathe. But laughter, that simple, human act, is one of the most powerful tools we have for balance. It's not childish, it's healing. The Stoics, often seen as stone-faced philosophers, actually understood this deeply. Epictetus once said, "People are not disturbed by things, but by the view they take of them." Laughter changes that view. It's how we turn pain into perspective. When you laugh even for a second, your body releases endorphins, serotonin, and dopamine. These chemicals fight off stress, ease pain, and lift your mood almost instantly. Science confirms it. Studies show that laughter lowers blood pressure, strengthens the immune system, and reduces stress hormones like cortisol. Dr. Lee Burke from Loma Linda University even found that laughter therapy helps patients heal faster and feel more hopeful, even in the middle of serious illness. But laughter isn't only for happy people. It's a choice, and sometimes it's an act of defiance. When life gets heavy, Choosing to laugh isn't denial, it's strength. Imagine life as a roller coaster. You can't control the ups and downs, but laughter is your safety harness. It keeps you grounded when everything else feels uncertain. You don't need to wait for something funny to happen. Start small. Laugh at the tiny absurdities, at your mistakes, at the world's chaos, even at yourself. Forced laughter, science says, still triggers the same benefits. Think of laughter as a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger your resilience becomes. Next time you're stuck in traffic or facing a tough day, remember, you can either curse the storm or dance in the rain. Laughter is not just an escape from pain, it's a return to life. It reminds us that we are still here, still capable of joy, no matter what's happening around us. So, laugh more, not because life is easy, but because it's too short not to. Think about your day for a moment. How much of it do you spend indoors, surrounded by walls, screens, artificial light, and recycled air? Modern life has made us prisoners of comfort. We wake up, scroll through our phones, rush to work, and spend the rest of the day in front of glowing rectangles. By the time night falls, we've barely touched the world outside our walls. But human beings weren't designed to live this way. For most of our history, we belonged to nature. We woke with the sun, slept under the stars, and measured time by the rhythm of the seasons. Somewhere along the way, we traded that connection for convenience and lost a part of ourselves in the process. The Stoics believed that living in harmony with nature wasn't optional, it was essential. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. Nature never rushes, yet it never stops moving." When we slow down and realign ourselves with that rhythm, life feels calmer, more balanced, and, somehow, right. So what happens when we reconnect with the world beyond our screens? Science has an answer. Studies show that spending just 20 minutes outdoors, even in a park or your backyard, can lower cortisol levels, the hormone that fuels stress. It can also improve focus, boost mood, and spark creativity. You don't need to climb a mountain or disappear into the woods. Step outside, breathe deeply, feel the air on your skin, notice the way sunlight filters through the leaves. These tiny sensory moments are reminders that life exists beyond your to-do list. The Japanese call this practice Shinrin-yoku, or forest bathing, immersing yourself in the sights, sounds, and smells of nature. Research shows that it not only strengthens the immune system, but also lowers blood pressure and improves overall energy. But beyond biology, something more subtle happens when you spend time in nature. Perspective. Stand beside a river that's been flowing for centuries, or look up at a tree older than your grandparents, and suddenly your worries seem smaller. Nature reminds us that everything changes: the seasons, the tides, the clouds above our heads, and that change is not something to fear, it's simply the way of life. The Stoics would say that understanding this truth helps us accept the world as it is, not as we wish it to be. So go outside, touch the earth, watch the sunrise, listen to the wind. You'll find that peace doesn't have to be hunted, it's waiting quietly in the space where the world breathes. Lesson 2. Be a morning person. Let's be honest, mornings have a bad reputation. For many, that alarm ringing before sunrise feels like an act of cruelty. The bed is warm, the world is cold, and the idea of being cheerful before coffee seems impossible. But what if mornings are misunderstood? What if waking up early isn't about discipline or productivity, but about alignment, about giving to yourself a head start on your own life? Marcus Aurelius, who, by the way, ruled an empire and still managed to write one of the greatest works of philosophy, gave himself this advice. At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, "I am rising to do the work of a human being." He didn't mean work in the sense of labor or obligation. He meant living. The work of being alive, thinking, creating, helping, growing. Modern science agrees with him. Studies show that early risers tend to have higher levels of optimism, better sleep quality, and lower risks of stress and depression. Waking up early gives you something rare in our chaotic world: quiet. The early hours are sacred. The world hasn't started shouting yet. The phone is silent. The mind is clear. This is when you can think, plan, or simply breathe. It's not about being perfect or joining the 5 a.m. It's about finding your rhythm, shifting your schedule just enough to start the day on your own terms. When you rise with intention, you claim the day before it claims you. You have time to reflect, move your body, or enjoy a slow cup of coffee as sunlight spills into the room. These moments, though small, create stability. Seneca once said, "The mind must be given relaxation. It will rise improved and sharper after a good break." That break can begin at sunrise. The silence of the morning isn't emptiness, it's space for renewal. If waking up early feels impossible, start small. Go to bed 15 minutes earlier, wake up 15 minutes sooner. Use that time not to check your phone, but to do something that nourishes you: write, stretch, meditate, or just sit in stillness. It's not about discipline for discipline's sake. It's about beginning the day connected to yourself, to the present moment, and to the quiet truth that life doesn't wait. And here's the unexpected reward. When you master your mornings, you master your mindset. You stop being dragged by the chaos of the day and start moving with purpose. Waking early isn't a punishment, it's a privilege, a gentle reminder that you're alive, and the day ahead is yours to shape. In the next part, we'll explore how planning your days with purpose and filling them with what truly matters transforms time itself. Because happiness, as the Stoics knew, is not about having more hours, but about living the ones you already have. Have you ever noticed how some days seem to vanish? They slip through your fingers before you even realize they've begun. You wake up, scroll through your phone, handle a few tasks, and suddenly the sun is gone. Other days feel full, alive, rich with purpose. The difference isn't in how many hours you have, it's in how you use them. The Stoics believed that time is our most precious resource, far more valuable than money or success. Seneca once warned, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." He wrote that 2,000 years ago, yet it feels even more relevant today. Because in the 21st century, distraction is the real thief of life. Lesson 3. Pack your days with purpose. Having a full life doesn't mean being busy, it means being intentional. The goal isn't to fill every second with activity, it's to give every hour a reason to exist. When you wake up without direction, your mind drifts. You react instead of create. But when you plan your day even loosely, you set a compass for your attention. The Stoics believed that clarity of intention is what separates the wise from the restless. Science agrees. Research shows that people who set daily goals and plan their time report higher happiness, more focus, and a deeper sense of control over their lives. It's not about rigid scheduling, it's about alignment. Think of your day as a canvas. You only get one fresh sheet every morning. If you don't paint something meaningful on it, it fills itself with noise. Start by identifying the essentials, the things that matter most to you. Maybe it's your health, your work, your relationships, or simply your peace of mind. Then Structure your day around them. Leave room for the unexpected, because life rarely follows your plan, but let purpose be your foundation. Seneca used to write every night, reflecting on how he had spent his time. He'd ask himself, "Did I live today, or was I merely alive?" This kind of reflection transforms how you move through life. When you treat your hours as sacred, your days expand. You can still rest, still play, still do nothing at all as long as that nothing is intentional. The Stoics were not against pleasure or leisure. They simply warned against drifting through life without awareness. A day well spent isn't one packed with noise, it's one that ends with peace. Lesson 4. Don't quit on what you love. At some point you've probably wanted to give up on something that once made you feel alive. A dream, a project, a passion. Maybe you told yourself it was impractical, or you got tired when progress felt invisible. But here's the truth. Quitting on what you love doesn't bring relief. It brings regret. The Stoics understood this deeply. Seneca said, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult." We often mistake the discomfort of effort for a sign we're failing. But the Stoics would argue that struggle is proof we're alive and growing. Think about the moments in life that truly changed you, not the easy victories, but the hard-won ones. The hours of practice that no one saw, the setbacks that forced you to adapt, the failures that taught you resilience. These moments carved you into who you are. Modern psychology backs this up. Studies show that people who engage in passion-driven work, even if it's difficult, experience greater happiness and mental well-being than those who chase external rewards. Passion gives life meaning. When things get tough, remember why you started. Reconnect with that spark. The joy that first made you say, "This is what I'm meant to do." And if you're frustrated by slow progress, remember this. Growth is rarely visible in real time. A seed doesn't look like a tree. Progress hides beneath the surface roots, spreading quietly before the first leaf appears. The Stoics taught that we should focus not on outcomes, but on effort. You can't control how quickly the tree grows, but you can keep watering it. Keep showing up, even when it feels pointless, especially when it feels pointless. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Your obstacles are not detours, they're the path itself. Every difficulty you face while pursuing what you love is teaching you patience, skill, and endurance. So the next time you're tempted to quit, ask yourself, will I be proud of this decision tomorrow? Most of the time, the answer is no, because the truth is, we rarely regret trying too long. We regret giving up too soon. Hold on to what you love, not out of stubbornness, but out of respect for your own heart. Life will challenge you, twist your path, test your patience. But as long as you're walking towards something that matters to you, you're on the right road. The Stoics believed that happiness isn't comfort, it's meaning, and meaning is born from persistence. So don't quit. Not when it's hard, not when it's slow, not when no one understands. Because every time you keep going, you're proving something powerful not to the world, but to yourself. That you are stronger than your fear, steadier than your doubts, and more capable than you think. In the next part, we'll explore the quieter powers of happiness, kindness, gratitude, and connection, and how turning outward to others can heal what's within. The world moves fast. Everyone's chasing something: success, recognition, comfort, and in the rush, we forget one of the simplest truths of being human. We need each other. Happiness doesn't come from what we collect, but from how we connect. Lesson 5. Go for kindness. In a time when impatience and cynicism are everywhere, kindness feels almost rebellious. But kindness, real kindness, is a quiet strength. The Stoics knew this long before psychology confirmed it. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor-philosopher, wrote, "Kindness is invincible, but only when it's sincere." To the Stoics, kindness wasn't weakness or politeness. It was a deliberate choice, to remain gentle in a world that isn't. They believed we share a common thread, that every person is part of one great human family. Modern science echoes this ancient wisdom. Researchers at UCLA found that small acts of kindness, even just smiling, listening, or helping someone carry a bag, release oxytocin, often called the love hormone. This single chemical lowers stress, reduces blood pressure, and boosts happiness in both the giver and the receiver. Kindness spreads like light in a mirror hall. One small gesture reflects endlessly, changing lives you may never see. And here's the best part, it costs nothing. You don't need wealth or status to be kind. You only need awareness, the willingness to notice another person's pain, their need, their small victories. Seneca wrote, "Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness. Every moment is a chance to lift someone up, and in doing so, lift yourself. So, be kind. Not because the world deserves it every day, but because you do. Kindness keeps your soul light, your mind clear, and your heart open." Lesson 6. Say yes more often. How many times have you said no before thinking, not because you didn't want to, but because saying yes felt risky? We crave comfort, predictability, control. But growth doesn't live there. Life's richest experiences, friendship, love, adventure, all begin with a simple yes. The Stoics weren't thrill seekers, but they embraced life fully. They taught that fear of the unknown is worse than the unknown itself. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Saying yes is a reaction, a statement of courage. It's not about reckless choices or pleasing everyone. It's about being open to possibility. Think of the times you stepped outside your comfort zone. Maybe you spoke to someone new, traveled alone, or took a job that scared you. Those moments shaped you. Science agrees that novelty, trying new things, triggers dopamine, the brain's reward chemical. It creates excitement, motivation, and joy. So say yes to life more often, yes to new experiences, yes to meeting people, yes to challenges that stretch you. You'll fail sometimes, feel awkward sometimes, but that's where confidence grows. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Look within. Within is the fountain of good." Every yes you say to the world is also a yes to your own potential. And remember, a fulfilled life isn't made of safe choices. It's made of brave ones. Lesson 7. Turn off your phone sometimes. In the age of constant connection, silence has become a luxury. Our phones buzz, flash, and call for our attention like restless pets. And every time we check them, we give away a little piece of presence. The Stoics didn't know about smartphones, but they warned about distraction. Seneca wrote, "He who is everywhere is nowhere. When you're split between 100 things, you're nowhere fully." And being nowhere is the opposite of being alive. Modern studies confirm this. Excessive phone use has been linked to anxiety, poor sleep, and reduced focus. The more time we spend online, the less satisfied we feel, not because the world on the screen is bad, but because it's not real enough. Turning off your phone, even briefly, is a radical act of mindfulness. It's saying, "I choose the moment I'm in, not the noise that calls for me." Try it. Eat one meal without scrolling, walk without earbuds. Talk to someone face to face, eyes free from the glow of a screen. You'll notice something strange. Time slows down. Your thoughts settle. The people around you feel closer. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Nowhere can man find a quieter retreat than in his own soul." Turning off your phone creates space for that retreat for reflection, peace, and true attention. It's not about rejecting technology, but about reclaiming control over it. Use your devices, don't let them use you. The next time you feel overwhelmed or disconnected, try a small digital fast. Power off, breathe in, and look around. You'll be surprised at how quickly the world feels alive again. Kindness connects you to others. Saying yes connects you to life. And disconnection from noise reconnects you to yourself. Together, these three practices form a quiet triangle of balance, heart, mind, and soul working in harmony. In the next part, we'll explore how rest, travel, and relationships aren't luxuries, they're essential to happiness. Because life isn't just about doing, it's about being, and being with others. We live in a culture that glorifies constant motion, the hustle, the grind, the endless pursuit of more. But what if happiness isn't in the chase, but in the pauses between? The Stoics, though known for their strength and discipline, understood something we've almost forgotten. To live well, we must know when to stop. Lesson 8. Take breaks and go on trips. All work and no play makes the soul weary, Seneca might have said if he lived today. The Stoics didn't see rest as weakness, they saw it as maintenance for the mind. A blade that's never sharpened will dull. A heart that's never rested will harden. Modern research agrees. Our brains can't focus endlessly. After 90 minutes of intense work, performance drops, mistakes increase, and creativity fades. Even short breaks, 5 minutes of stretching, a walk outside, or a breath of fresh air reset the mind and renew clarity. Longer breaks matter too. Vacations aren't indulgence, they're renewal. Studies show people who take regular trips report greater happiness and lower stress. When you change your environment, you give your brain a chance to reset its patterns. But the Stoic version of vacation wasn't about escaping problems, it was about recharging so you could face them better. Marcus Aurelius would retreat into nature or solitude to reflect, then return to Rome with sharper focus and deeper calm. You don't need a tropical island, you need presence. You need to step back and remember that life is more than a to-do list. So pause, take breaks, plan small adventures, let silence breathe between your tasks. Happiness often hides in the spaces where we stop striving. Lesson 9. Hang out with friends and family. In the pursuit of personal goals, we often forget the people who make the journey worthwhile. Relationships aren't distractions, they're the framework of a meaningful life. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Men exist for the sake of one another. Teach them, or bear with them." The Stoics saw connection as both duty and joy. Humans are social creatures. We find strength in community, purpose in love, and resilience in companionship. The longest-running study on happiness by Harvard University found one clear truth: people with strong relationships live longer, happier, and healthier lives. Not money, not fame, connection. Seneca put it beautifully. There is no enjoying the possession of anything valuable unless one has someone to share it with. It's easy to tell ourselves we're too busy, that we'll call our parents later, see our friends next week, make time when work calms down. But time is the one thing that doesn't wait. Be present with the people you love. When you're with them, put away distractions. Listen, laugh, share silence. Those moments become the anchor points of memory, the proof that life was lived fully. When relationships get hard, and they will remember Stoic patience. We can't control others' actions, only our reactions. Approach conflict with empathy, not pride. Choose to understand before you demand. Love isn't found. It's cultivated through time, forgiveness, and care. Lesson 10. Help others out. Helping others might sound selfless, but it's one of the surest ways to find happiness yourself. Marcus Aurelius compared humanity to a beehive. What is not good for the hive cannot be good for the bee. The Stoics believe that we are all connected, that serving others is serving ourselves, because no one thrives in isolation. Modern science supports this. Acts of kindness activate the brain's reward centers, releasing dopamine and oxytocin chemicals linked to joy and belonging. Volunteering, mentoring, or simply offering a helping hand improves not only others' lives, but your own mental health. You don't need grand gestures. Start small. Hold the door, give a compliment, listen without interrupting. Tiny actions ripple outward, shaping a kinder world. But remember, the Stoics taught balance. You can't pour from an empty cup. Take care of your own well-being so that your kindness comes from strength, not exhaustion. Helping others isn't a burden, it's a way of remembering that you matter because you make others' lives better. Lesson 11. Focus on the good stuff you've got. It's easy to get lost in comparison. Someone always has more money, more followers, more success. But chasing more is a race without a finish line. Gratitude is how you step off the track. Seneca said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." The Stoics practiced gratitude daily, not as a trend, but as a discipline. Marcus Aurelius would write each morning about what he was thankful for: the warmth of sunlight, loyal friends, a body that still moved. He knew gratitude turns ordinary life into enough. Science once again agrees. People who keep gratitude journals sleep better, feel more optimistic, and experience less anxiety. It's not magic, it's rewiring. The brain learns to look for what's right instead of what's wrong. Gratitude also strengthens relationships. When you thank others sincerely, you remind them and yourself that connection matters more than achievement. Start small. Each night, name 3 things you're grateful for. Some days it might be big health, love, stability. Other days it might just be the taste of coffee or the sound of rain. But gratitude builds perspective. It reminds you that you already possess what so many are still chasing. The Stoics taught that happiness is not about controlling life. It's about seeing it clearly and appreciating it as it is. Lesson 12. Let go of grudges. Holding on to anger is like drinking poison and waiting for the other person to die. The Stoics saw resentment as a thief of peace. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." Forgiveness, in their view, wasn't approval of wrong, it was liberation from it. Modern psychology agrees. Forgiveness reduces stress, improves sleep, and strengthens the immune system. It doesn't erase pain, but it releases your attachment to it. Epictetus taught that people act out of ignorance. They harm others because they don't understand better. When you grasp this, anger softens. You see the other not as an enemy, but as another flawed human walking through life's confusion. Letting go is a process. You might have to do it over and over until peace finally sticks. But each time you choose release instead of resentment, you win a quiet victory not over them, but over yourself. The Stoic path to modern happiness. Across these lessons, laughter, nature, morning light, discipline, kindness, gratitude, connection, and forgiveness. A single thread runs through. Happiness isn't something you find, it's something you practice. The Stoics never promised a life free of pain, they promised peace within it. They taught that we can't control what happens, but we can always control how we respond, and that's where freedom begins. Happiness is not in perfection, it's in participation, in showing up for life, moment by moment, fully aware, fully alive. So laugh more, go outside, wake up early, make plans that matter, hold on to what you love, be kind, say yes, unplug, rest, love your people, help others, be grateful, forgive freely. And remember, as Marcus Aurelius said over 1,800 years ago, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Train your thoughts, and you train your world. Happiness, it turns out, was never somewhere else. It was always within you, waiting for you to notice. In the end, the Stoics weren't preaching perfection, they were teaching presence. They lived in chaos, wars, loss, betrayal, yet somehow found stillness. Their world wasn't so different from ours. The noise just came from swords and politics instead of screens and deadlines. What made them remarkable wasn't that they avoided pain, but that they understood it. They learned to live through life's storms without letting those storms live inside them. That's the quiet superpower we need today. To laugh when the world grows dark. To step outside and breathe when anxiety tightens its grip. To wake early not just to work, but to be. To fill our days with intention, not distraction. To be kind when cynicism feels easier. To say yes to the uncertain and turn off the noise long enough to hear our own thoughts. To rest, to forgive, to love, and to remember. Happiness is not built on the absence of struggle, but on the presence of meaning. Seneca once wrote, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." That line could have been written yesterday, because even in our hyper-connected age, the truth remains the same. Peace begins where comparison ends. So, if you take only one lesson from all this, let it be this: happiness isn't waiting for you at the end of some perfect plan. It lives quietly in this breath, this sunrise, this conversation, this choice to be gentle with yourself and with the world. You are not late. You are not behind. You are already where you need to be. And as long as you live with gratitude, acceptance, and love, the three keys that old man gave to Mark, you'll carry peace wherever you go. Because the Stoics were right all along. The world will never stop being chaotic, but you can always choose to be calm within it.